Alright, so I have a group that regularly meets on Sundays to play different tabletop campaigns. We've done some of the big ones, you know, D&D, I, not, like, all of them, but a few I, messed around with Pathfinder a bit. Got a couple people interested in Cyberpunk, but we haven't quite gotten around to it. However, we also play a lot of weird niche, like, indie thing, systems. And I am here to talk about how, as you saw from the title of the video, I accidentally, whoa, what the fuck did I do? Got my players to interrogate a duck twice. Different ducks, probably. So, most of this group are fans of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yes, we're making a video on JoJo. If any of you want to claim you are not a weeb and yet still watch my videos, the door is on the left down the hall. But, and I found a system specifically built for it, and we messed around with it a bit. Now, when I DM, or GM, whatever, I tend to actually not have my players start together. I like to have a small thing where they start in different areas and then a twist of fate leads them into each other's path. For example, in this one, our party was an old Hamon master, a orphaned kid, a high school girl, I believe, and a local archaeology professor. Them naturally meeting up isn't really what's gonna happen. So, so I don't remember exactly what bullshit I gave for how they met up, but each of them started in their own corner, and they would independently, except for the high school girl, come to learn that weird stuff goes down at the lake that the town is hugged around, at night. Now, what happened with the high school girl? That's a story for another day that is not related to duck interrogations. But the other three, each of... Ooh, travel time. Each of them end up, going to this lake late at night, and there they find a strange phenomenon. A bunch of ducks, with pure white ducks with glowing red eyes, nestled together as if they were having some kind of strategy meeting of sorts. And at first, they would, alongside the, assistant to the archaeology professor, would try to investigate, what's going on with these ducks. Now, the orphaned kid, one of my players, understood the assignment. He was able to realize that these ducks probably don't mean any real harm, and was just trying to talk to them. The archaeology professor had no clue what the fuck to think. and just kind of let the kid do whatever, because what the fuck are you gonna do? But my third player here, he was playing as the Hamon Master, and he recognized these ducks for what they are. Vampires. I mean, probably they were closer to, like, part 1 ghouls, but ghouls hurt my head, so I pretend to ignore them. They do not exist in my mind because I don't want to deal with them. I just cannot get it in the fucking hole. I swear I don't normally have this But, when... Oh, that's not what I wanted. But... So he immediately went on the aggression. This dude was like, no, they are works of evil. Now, the thing about this Hamon Master is that he was very old. He was, I think, 80 in-game. Now, Hamon is Hamon. Being 80 doesn't necessarily mean anything when your superpower is, I have enhanced life force, because sunlight and good breathing. So, functionally speaking, he was much closer to someone in their, like, 60s, I think? Oh, I thought that was gonna be an X-Lad, but no, Goldine. Okay. Now, because of that, he was able to immediately get started on this, and thus, in the first session of the campaign, there was a fight between my 3 players, an NPC assistant. I gave one of them, since he had never done any tabletop games before. I was grabbing something and didn't realize that animation was so fast. And this group of ducks. Now, the Hamon Master, being who he is, was able to... good job, me. Was able to, pretty easily deal with them. I am so sorry for the random pauses. But he was pretty easily able to deal with them. He was taking out basically a duck a turn. Now, remember I said this was a JoJo campaign? So, everyone in this party, despite setting up to be like a part 1 or part 2 style campaign, everyone here had a stand. Now, the archaeology professor, his player wanted to make a character similar to... Oh, he's going to roast me for forgetting this. La Mesa, I believe is his name, from La Mulana. So because of that, his stand was a whip that had a pretty similar damage type to Hamon. Like, not the same, but enough to matter here. And because it's a whip, he was also able to pretty handily deal with the these fucking vampiric ducks. So close, holy shit. There we go! And with him, now the other 2, the little kid had a, damn it, the little kid had a stand called Wheel in the Sky. Now, this player was fairly experienced with, tabletop role-playing at this point, so I allowed him a stand that is based off of pure RNG, basically. Every time he would activate his stand, he would be allowed to choose either a D100 or a D6. The D100 had stands based that were from the series, and he could save up to 6 of them and roll the D6. But he didn't know what the chart was at the start of the campaign. All he knew is that the top 10 would be like protagonist and antagonist stands, and if he rolled a 1, he got Cheap Trick. Now, if that doesn't mean anything to any of you, don't worry about it. Because I don't think he really, because he didn't really use the stand as much as you would think, because his character was trying to keep things under wraps that he was a stand user. And there, oh, I forgot how annoying these can be. And for what was it? Oh yeah. So he did a roll, and what stand did he get? If memory serves me right, he got a mid-tier stand. I think this might have been. This was either the. I think this was the fight where he got the fishing rod. What was the fucking fishing rod called? Oh, damn it. I looked away! Fuck! I looked away to think. Beach Boy. I think he started with Beach Boy. And we learned through this campaign, holy shit! Beach Boy is OP. When it's allowed to be. It was used by someone who didn't actually use it. So, yeah, that one's on me. What am I doing? So, when he was, I think this was when he got Beach Boy anyway. What am I doing? So, with, and then the assistant, the little NPC I gave to help out the new guy, he, oh, I passed it. There it is. With him, he, oh. Oh, okay. He had a stand called Wayward Son. And the idea of Wayward Son is basically these twine-like, ropes would come out of his middle knuckles, and he could use them like a homunless version of, Hermit Purple, but their main purpose was being able to apprise and analyze things. This would be a source of frustration and headache for him and... Oh. Okay. For him and decidedly not my players for the entire campaign. So we had 2 people who had stands very good for this. Someone with a stand that is very good in general, but wasn't that great here. And someone who could only really fight one duck at a time. With that, they were able to pretty handily deal with, these ducks until only one was left. And the new guy, the archaeology professor, he stopped everyone from taking it out. And said something that would change the course of this campaign forever. I want to talk to it. Now, because he wanted to base his character off of someone from a game, I allowed him to bend the rules of how stands work slightly for the sake of the power fantasy, pretty much. I let the stand do a little more than it should by emulating the sub-items from that game at the cost of him having to slowly unlock them throughout the course of the campaign. So, because of this, he started with an ability called Caltrops. Now, what Caltrops could do is he could imbue an item with the Caltrop ability. Damn it. Oh, right, ball save is up, we good. And if someone stepped on that item, they would be stuck to it. And that's kind of how most of his sub-items worked, is that he would be able to enchant something with the sub-item. So he laid down a piece of cloth on the ground, motioned for the duck to step on it. Oh no, I misremembered. This happened and then the fight. He motioned for the duck to step on it. And then the duck, he legitimately started asking it questions. And at first I didn't exactly know what to do with this. I was just laughing at the absurdity of the situation. And then I realized, I know exactly how to voice the ducks. Because you see, one year, for my birthday, someone absolutely insane gifted me something that would change the course of my life. A $12 stainless steel kazoo with an unscrewable top so that you can replace the filters. And I used that kazoo to voice act the ducks in this campaign. Whenever you ask it a question, and they had to interpret what the duck was trying to say based on that. And they grilled this fucking duck. Alright. It was cooked and ready to serve by the time they were done with it. And this duck, because it was stuck, and there was a Haman Master out for blood, it knew its fate was there. So, by the end, or so when it came time that it knew it was about to die, its last words were just, and then that big fight I mentioned started. After the fight, I previewed one of the big villains for the campaign. Session ended, everyone went on their merry way. Now, this campaign, I had several players that would float in and out of it, and one of them who came in later, he didn't have the context behind these ducks. Like, he heard us talking about it, he saw the memes, but he didn't have first-hand experience with these fucking ducks. So, his character was this total punk who had this gun where you could put curses or insults into it and they would come true. Yo, I wish that was intentional. That was sick as fuck. But, so he, essentially, I gave him a Death Note gun. That's functionally what I did. And I regret nothing. He was great. He'd made The things he did with that fucking gun were hilarious. He encountered this duck, and I roped him into a side plot based around the idea that the FBI has an anti-stand division. Because of course they would. Why wouldn't they? You know? That was the wrong button. I was doing so good. Now, when he ended up encountering one, at first, he was just kind of annoyed at it. Oh, that was the wrong button. But he ended up bringing it back to this hub zone that I made for my players. Tom's Diner, named after the song of the same name. And this diner was basically, I signaled to the players, if you don't know what to do, go to this diner and I will have plot happen. Now, it's also a safe area for the players because the owner, Tom, is a stand user, but he doesn't realize that the diner is a stand, or at least that it's enchanted by one. See, what Tom's Diner does is if someone is about to do something out of anger or malice or intent to harm, it will give them temporary paralysis. We're talking like a half second of you stopping what you're doing and it letting go once that idea passes. Let it be known, the player I mentioned that was an orphan, well, he was adopted by Tom, so he knew the stand very well. He learned how to control and regulate his emotions so that the stand wouldn't activate on him, and he did a lot of trolling with it. But that's for a different video. So, but this new guy with his funny gun, him and the FBI agent, they brought the duck to the campaign, or to the diner. Hope they brought it to the campaign. They brought it to the diner, and, well, oh, fuck, I pressed the wrong button. I meant to do that. Oh, well. So, when they got there, they basically just demanded a back room, and the FBI agent in question just kind of pulled out his Fed card and went, hey, this says you have to listen to me. And the owner of the diner tried to hold back his instincts as a former member of the IRA. Long story. So, they got into the back, and the player who learned how this diner works did so in an amazing way. So, at first, it was the same as last time, you know, ask questions, all that. But, then, this player tried to use his gun. And the problem is that the gun only works if you have malintent. That is a base fucking requirement for it. So, every time he tried to do something with it, he would be paralyzed. And his character had no idea why. Obviously, the player did, but his character had no idea why. And so he couldn't use his gun. And the first time this happened, and he started freaking out about it, the duck legit went, which pissed him off more, which made him more paralyzed, And this poor FBI agent has no idea what's going on. And and at this point, like, no one's getting anything done. The owner of the diner is confused why there's a fucking duck in a supply closet room in the back. This FBI guy just... No, the FBI guy has a stand that lets him see other stands even if they're dismissed. And him trying to use his stand while inside the diner gave him a massive fucking migraine, because the way his stand works is that he will see small strings of energy attaching from the stand to the owner of it. The problem is, since the entire diner is the stand for all intents and purposes, this dude was seeing enough red strings in the room to make Charlie Day blush. Like, whew. I think that's the person I'm thinking of. I don't know celebrities, I just know the haha funny crazy man with corkboard meme. But so he couldn't use it this entire time. So he couldn't know what was happening because his own stand was being accidentally weaponized against him. And eventually they managed to sort out what was happening and get the info they wanted from this goddamn duck. But it was like pulling teeth. Or pulling feathers in this case. And in-universe, no one came out of this happy. The duck was mad that it got fucking kidnapped and then thrown into the sun. The FBI agent doesn't have nearly enough fucking coffee for this. And my player just was put in a situation where his own goddamn stand doesn't even work. And as he left, and that session of the campaign wrapped up, all he said to me was, "You seriously got me to interrogate a duck. This is JoJo. This is JoJo in its purest form." And honestly, vampire ducks have been a running joke within that group for years now because of it. Anyway, hopefully this video fixed the weird audio issues I was having. I did a little bit of testing beforehand. If the audio is still fucked, let me know. Later.